Okay, boys and girls, today we're going to simplify algebraic equations, or expressions, I'm sorry. So the first thing that we need to do is we're going to simplify it, and then what we need to do is state the coefficient of the variable. So let me just get a marker. What we need to do is, like in class I told you to box it out. So when you box out any number or variable, you're going to take the sign with it. So when I box these out, I have k, then minus k, plus k, minus 3. So I have k minus k, which is 0. So you have k minus 3 left. So it's going to be k minus 3. Now it says, what's the coefficient? So the coefficient, if you remember, is the number that's multiplying the variable. There's nothing there. I don't see a number, so it's assumed that it's going to be 1. Because think about it, you have 1k here. So the coefficient is going to be 1. All right, let's try one more of these, and then we can move on to other stuff. So number 6, I'm going to box them out. Oops. And I have, they're all x's, so I can combine all of those because they're like terms. So I have 12x minus 4x, which is 8x, plus I have 3x plus 5x, which is 8x. So when I combine them, I have 8x plus 8x is 16x. So my coefficient will be 16. Okay, so let's go on to the next part. The next part says state whether each expression is equivalent. Okay, so when we do this, this means equivalent, an equal sign, and not equivalent is going to be an equal sign with a slash through. So let's go to number 10 because that's the a little bit trickier. So we're going to look at, I'm going to put an equal sign in the middle. So we have 5g minus 2g. So 5g minus 2g is 3g. And let's see if it's equal to this. So we have 18g over 6. Now if you remember in class, I told you we can actually simplify this. So 6 and 18, 6 goes into 18 3 times. So the answer is going to be 3g. So 3g equals 3g, yes, so we leave it as equal sign. If it did not equal, then I would put a slash through the equal sign. All right, so let's do one of these down here. So number 14, box it out. So I have plus 4n minus 9 plus 8n minus 11n. So let's start with 18. I have an 18. I can combine it only with the terms that do not have a variable. So I have 18 minus 9. So 18 minus 9, I'm going to cross them out when I do it, is 9. Then I have plus 4n plus 8n is 12n. 12n minus 11n is just n. So it's going to be plus n. Okay, so those are fairly easy. So let's move on to the next page. Okay, so let's just do one of these over here. So I'll box this one out. So we have plus 9 plus 10r minus 5 minus 4r. So let's start with, we have the r first. So I have r plus 10r is 11r, minus 4r is 7r. Then I have 9 minus 5, so plus 9 means positive 9, minus 5 is positive or plus 4, because we have 9 minus 5, so that's going to be 4, and it's positive, so it's plus 4. Okay, so let's try 19. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come up with an equation, or an expression, I'm sorry. So let me just try and move this over. Okay, so first it says Peggy bought 2 racing cars for 5x each. So I like to make a chart. The chart helps. So I have a racing car, and we have 2 cars for 5x each. So it's 2 times 5x. That's the racing cars. And 3 model motorcycles for 3x each. So it's going to be the motorcycles is going to be 3 at 3x each. Okay, so what we're going to do is we have to figure out how much she paid in total. So what we're going to do is we're going to add these. So now I have 2 times 5x. So you can actually multiply that even though the 2 doesn't have a variable. So it's 2 times 5x, which is going to be 10x plus 3 times 3x is going to be 9x. Now I can combine them because they're both variables, so 10x plus 9x is going to be 19x, and I'm going to write dollars because it's 19x dollars. Sorry, it's a little sloppy there. Okay, let's try one more of these on this page. I'm going to try 22. It says Shanti baked 5p croissants. So here's Shanti. She has 5p. John baked, so we'll set up a chart. John baked twice as many as Shanti. Well, if Shanti did 5p, he did twice as many. So twice as many would be 10p. Ching baked 16 fewer than John. So John baked 10p. So he did 16 fewer, so it's minus 16. Let me just move this up. So now what we need to do is, it says find the total, so we have to add them all. So I'm going to rewrite it as an expression. 5p plus 10p plus, now Ching is 10p minus 16. So combine like terms. I have 5p, 10p, and 10p is 25p minus 16. And I'm going to put it in parentheses, and it says find the total number of croissants. So this is 25p minus 25p minus 16, and it's going to be croissants. So you would have to write down croissants. That's your label. All right, let's look at one more. Well, let me just explain it. Something about 25. I'm not going to do 25, but I think you can do it. But let me explain something. Actually, I'll help you with A part. So it says find the perimeter of the square. It says the square has size of 5s minus 2. Oops, hold up. I wrote that wrong. So this says it has 5s minus 2 divided by 4. That's one side. So it says find the perimeter. So what I would do is multiply this whole thing by 4, or add them up 4 times. Okay, so it's going to be the same thing because that's what perimeter is. But if I multiply this by 4, I'm going to multiply the whole equation, or the whole term, by 4. So what I'm going to do is this: 5s minus 2 over 4 times it by 4 over 1. And you remember, a number next to parentheses means multiplication. So what I can do is, you can simplify this, because 4, and remember it's times, so 4 and 4 I could simplify, and that's going to be 1. So it's going to just be 5s minus 2. So just remember, when you do perimeters, what you're going to do is add up the sides. And let me just go back to one up here. So Brian has 20x. Brian has 20x dollars. He spends 3x for breakfast, so spends means to subtract, $5 for maps, and 6x for a guidebook. So now what you need to do is write an equation, or an expression, with all these terms. Just remember, though, you only can combine the 20x, the 3x, and the 6x. You can't combine the 5 with that. And what I would do is, I'm not going to give you the answer for this, but you need to box these out. Once you box them out, you could then easily simplify this.